Hello guys, welcome back. Now today I want to talk about the Anaheim Ducks and how good and scary they can be in the second half and going into the playoffs. Now the Anaheim Ducks are 34, 21, and 12. Now while they're second in the Pacific Division, let's say the Sharks that are right behind them get another point, of course they would have the disadvantage and they would slip right back to third with all those overtime losses. It slips them down, and the disadvantage of them having more overtime losses slips them down in the standings. It basically means if they have the tiebreaker, they're probably going to be the guy that's lower than the other team. Now on a 3-game winning streak, they slipped into second in that Pacific Division spot a couple of days ago, and they are really hot right now. Not necessarily in these last 3 games, which they have been hot, but in this last, few months now, since the All-Star break, they've been fantastic. Of course, their home record has been fantastic the whole time, and their away record has been iffy, but it's been getting better. But their home record is definitely something to be scared about. That is just a monstrous record at home. But since the All-Star break, really, they've been have just a fantastic team overall. Of course, this usually is the pattern for the Anaheim Ducks in recent years. It seems like Anaheim Ducks just love to be on these second half kind of stretches where they just are hot, and then of course they cruise to the playoffs and do well in the playoffs as well. They haven't been, of course, they haven't won the Stanley Cup since '07, but they usually go on these good playoff runs. They usually are pretty high up in the play, and like the second and third round, they're usually in there. They're usually pretty competitive there, so they do like to make playoff runs, and they're really hot in the second half usually in these past couple of years, especially. The second half is just a whole other beast for the Anaheim Ducks that they just take advantage of, and they really do love to be probably the hottest team in the second half. They really are fantastic right now. And of course, they battled tons of injuries in the first half. They weren't really the team that we all expected them to be. A lot of people expect them to be fantastic. Some people expect them to get to the Stanley Cup final, but in the first half at least, it wasn't quite what the people were expecting. There was lots of injuries. Getzlaf was injured for a lot of the season at the first half, and there was lots of injuries just overall in the team that the team just couldn't come over in the first half. Of course, getting Getzlaf back and him being fantastic, and a lot of guys coming back. Of course, when you're not injury riddled, you're going to do a lot better. And that's the case for the Ducks. They've been doing fantastic since guys like Getzlaf have come back. Now Ryan Getzlaf, second in the team in points, has missed 20 games this season basically, and he's been fantastic for them. Even though he's missed 20 games, he's second on the team in points, which tells you something. One thing is that the Anaheim Ducks are pretty, lackluster offensively, at least depth-wise. And two is that Getzlaf has just really been fantastic for them offensively, coming back from injury and playing fantastic. Once he came back, the Ducks have really been a lot better of a team. Of course, Getzlaf has been fantastic for when he's back, and they've really been a lot better right in these last couple of weeks because of it. Getzlaf has really helped, and he's really done fantastic. He's really stepped up these last couple of weeks. And I think probably the biggest thing, that the reason why the Ducks are where they are is mostly because of their goaltending. The goaltending has been stellar for them for basically this whole season. Gibson and Miller have been an excellent tandem for them. Now, early in the season, they were facing a lot of shots. A lot of shots were coming their way. It felt like they were getting like 50 shots per game. It was something crazy at the first period of the season, and they were doing fantastic. Even though they weren't winning too many games, they're still just saving almost everything. And they were fantastic, and they've been fantastic for the whole season. Now they've been consistent and they've been good. And really, I think that's the biggest reason why the Ducks are where they are. Why they're not really in a fringe playoff spot right now, but a lot better than people expected after they have been kind of on a weird first half, is because of them. And I think that the goaltending has really helped them, and it's really helped them be competitive and really kept them as a contender this whole season. Now, there are stats, as Gibson has a 2.46 goals against average. That's pretty good for him after he was getting lots of shots again early in the season, with a .927 save percentage, which is fantastic. It ranks one of the best in the NHL. He's been fantastic. I wouldn't say he's Vezina nomination worthy, but I'd say I put him in my top 5 at least. He's been fantastic, consistent, and he's been really the savior for the Ducks. And of course, Miller has been fantastic for them as a backup. He has a 2.52 goals against average. Well, he gets even more shots than Gibson does. He has a .925 save percentage, so it's not too much less than what Gibson is producing. Miller has been fantastic at a backup role. Really let go by Vancouver, getting another chance at Anaheim. It's really helped him, and of course the team around him is a lot better than, let's say, Vancouver. So I think that he's been fantastic and is really seizing the opportunity, and both goaltenders are doing fantastic for Anaheim. And really, they're a scary, scary team in the second half. They've been rolling again in the second half, post All-Star break. They've been doing fantastic, and they've been really rolling. They can't if they let's say they won, let's say six more games in that overtime. It would be 6 overtime losses, and they would have 40 wins. That would just be a powerhouse of a squad. They just got a couple more goals in overtime. They would be a lot better than they are record-wise, and they'd be one of the top teams in the NHL, contending with the Golden Knights in terms of points, and that would be fantastic. And of course, if they could get more overtime wins, just kind of be more clutch in overtime, that'd be a lot better for them. But really, scary squad heading into the playoffs, as they've been fantastic in the second half. And not to mention, the defense has been a lot better for them recently. They've been playing a lot better. They've been allowing less goals. Overall, they've been a lot better than they were in the first half of the season. And really, they were banged up in the first half of the season. They've really gotten some guys back on that defense throughout the second half, and that's really helped them into a second half that's been a lot better for them. And heading into the playoffs, they're a very scary team, very deep team. I'd say the expectation is second round, but they can get farther than that, maybe third round. They're Stanley Cup contender, really, if they get hotter. And really, if they get that second Pacific spot in that division, that would be fantastic for them, especially since guys like LA are in that position that they might want to take advantage of. If it's Calgary, let's say, that in that third Pacific spot, it'd be really cool. Maybe if they have San Jose, that'd be a pretty good matchup there. I mean, there's lots of good matchups here, but I'd say that they could probably win against San Jose. They could probably win against Calgary, and they could really do some damage against them, and definitely get past the first round. I think that getting that second Pacific spot is going to be really crucial for them as well. And just overall, the amount of playoff experience that they have on that team is just outstanding. They got just a fantastic overall defense right there that has the playoff experience. And even Ryan Gibson, who is still pretty young, has a lot of playoff experience since the Ducks have been in that position for a little while now. And that forward group just has immense playoff experience that they can really use. And I wouldn't say that they're a Stanley Cup contender quite yet, but I think they're reaching that rank there. They're really close to getting there. And if they can go on a run, of course, that'll give a lot of people hope after winning against Edmonton last season and getting to the third round to do very well, to continue and build on that as well. That'd be really cool to see. I think that Anaheim is just a step away and just a few wins away from really solidifying themselves as a playoff contender and really a Stanley Cup one. And there really are a dark horse, as you see, as people are pretty underrating them right now. I mean, not a lot of possession as they've had the weak first half start. Is kind of you got to get that hope kind of building up. But a lot of people are kind of underrating them, I'd say, right now. They can definitely get a huge playoff streak going, and they can go on a playoff run for sure. I think a lot of people are underrating them, and I'd say that they're a pretty good bet for a dark horse going into the playoffs, because I don't think a lot of people are really betting on them anyways. That's going on, guys. Like, subscribe, and not ring that bell if you haven't. Tell me down below what you think of the Anaheim Ducks, how far they can get into the playoffs and all of that, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.